What's up, big dogs? Back at you this week for our bi-weekly Q&A. We actually forgot to post on the Discord channel, so we're gonna pull some questions that were kind of just lingering in there to help you guys address those needs and quench that thirst. So I'll let Noah take it off. We got a couple questions. We even got a redraft question in there for you redrafters because we're looking out for you too. Even though it's a Dynasty channel, we are looking out for the redraft folks, and hopefully you guys come join us, man. Join the fucking dark side. I'm telling you, it's a freaking good time.
Yeah, Mike, you almost forgot the most important part of this intro of this video. The no intro.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
hit it.
dude. Hit that best intro on YouTube, bar none.
All right, first question from Ian86 Hamilton from a while back. He asks, is Geist droppable or is he still a hold in Dynasty? For me, like guys like Andrew Luck, I'll still hold on to. Other players like Jerick McKinnon, I'd hold on to. It's tough with Geist because this guy has been in the league for would have been his third year. He's carried the ball probably as many times as I have in the NFL. And the fact that, coming out of college, I always wondered why they were asking him all these like strange questions. They were like, oh, is your mom into doing this and this? And like all these weird ass questions pre-draft. And there was a lot of questions about his character, despite like not a lot of news coming out about him being a shady guy. And then obviously the domestic violence type of stuff rolls out and what he did at LSU, the case of whatever ended up happening with the two girls. Like, to me, it just seems like a long shot for him to ever make his way back into the league. Not because he's not talented, but because one, we've never seen him do it, and I think it's going to like if the Redskins cut you, you have to be a pretty shitty dude. Like that's a team that's willing to give anybody a second chance. So the fact that they didn't want to bring him back or even try to work through any of this leads me to believe that the Darius Geist train is coming to a very slow halt.
I'm actually on the total opposite side. I don't think you can drop
Yeah.
him. And I have acquired him. I've added more Darius Geist to my dynasty teams in the last since that thing came out than I have in his entire career. And I faded him his entire career. But I talked a little bit about this on Market Watch Mondays. But in these types of events where there's such a low chance of him playing, and I recognize that, right? There's a very low odds of him being relevant again and actually getting and joining a team, just given between the injuries and him being a total fucking shitbag of a human being. Don't get me wrong, I'm not rooting for Darius Geist just because I acquired him everywhere. I'm just acquiring him because the risk reward payoff is so unbalanced. You can get him now easily for a third round pick, I would say, right? You might even get him for a couple fourth round picks. And I think at that price, it sounds shitty, but the NFL is a shitty place, man. All they care about is people that can help them win. And once you fall out of the limelight, once the NFL season starts and people are playing, and once it's next year, and let's say he comes out of the whole rape allegations and nothing, he didn't get charged with it, right? And it's a little while back. I'm not saying he didn't do it. Chances are he probably do it. When there's rape victims that come out, I am more, I believe them because it's really hard to do that. To put yourself in the public eye against such a loved public figure, especially at LSU. So chances are he did it. I'm just not sure that the NFL cares enough. And if you're good and you're talented, eventually you're just gonna get a shot. And chances are he won't get a shot. But at the current price that he's going at, I just find myself gobbling him up. I just added him to another team. I think this past weekend on Saturday, I got him as a throw-in piece as part of a trade. So I don't think he's droppable. Like I said, I'm still holding Andrew Luck. I might start considering dropping Andrew Luck in Superflex leagues. Maybe not, but I don't think he's droppable right now.
I think that's the first time we ever wholeheartedly disagreed on something, Mike, and it had to be about Darius Geist, somebody who neither of us really like. So a bad person just tearing apart a friendship, one step at a time. Next up, we have Big Jordy 3 Thou. He asks, at Mike Me Up, he didn't care about what the fuck I had to say about it. He says, am I crazy for thinking we could see Chubb/Hunt put up similar numbers to the Ingram Kamara backfield? Should be crazy run heavy in similar talents. I'm feeling like people are too low on both players right now. What I'll say is Nick Chubb is a hell of a lot better than Mark Ingram. Kareem Hunt is nowhere near as good as Alvin Kamara. I don't see Alvin Kamara's caught exactly 81 passes each of the past 3 years. I just don't see Kareem Hunt, one, catching that many passes, and two, being as efficient as Alvin Kamara has been throughout his entire career. I could definitely see Nick Chubb outpacing whatever the hell Mark Ingram's ever done in his entire career, whether on the Saints or the Baltimore Ravens. I just don't see how both of these guys can be legit top 12 options at the same time. A lot of people say, if Nick Chubb were to go down, they would rank Kareem Hunt higher than where they have Nick Chubb with Hunt in the lineup. And if Kareem Hunt were to go down, Nick Chubb wouldn't be as high as vice versa with Hunt being there and Chubb not, whatever. It's kind of a tongue twister. What I'd like to think is like if both guys are going to be healthy, I just don't see. I see like somewhat of a capped upside for both. Like Nick Chubb isn't going to get the receiving work that he saw earlier in the season prior to Kareem Hunt finding his way into the lineup, and Kareem Hunt isn't going to have the same upside in terms of goal line rushes and in between the 20s touches when Nick Chubb is there, because quite frankly, he is better than Kareem Hunt and probably better than a million other running backs in the NFL when it comes to just pure rushing talent. So I do think that it is probably one of the best running back tandems in the league right now, if not the best. I just don't see for fantasy how both of them end up being RB1s, just because even outside of them, there's just a ton of, I always say there's a ton of mouths to feed, whether it's Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, and then bringing in Austin Hooper. And on top of that, like their offensive line pales in comparison to what the Saints had. Their offensive coordinator, like sure, it's going to be better than Freddie Kitchens, but is it going to be Sean Payton? Probably not. So I do think that they are a great running back tandem, but I don't think the situation is nearly as good as what the Saints had to offer for 4 to 5 years there.
Yeah, I think, look, can it happen? It can. Is it likely? No, because I think Nick Chubb is a superior runner, and I think the split is really overstated between what people think Kareem Hunt's going to take from Nick Chubb. Like Nick Chubb, by all accounts and by my eyes, is the best pure running back in the NFL. I think he's better than Zeke. I think he's better than everyone with the rock in his hands. He's not a great pass catcher, but he's like capable. He like passes the he passes the capability line. So I actually we don't know what this offense is going to look like, right? People are kind of projecting that it's going to be like last year where Kareem Hunt comes in and vultures all the receiving work, probably vultures some goal line work, but we don't know that, right? Like what we saw in Minnesota was what they did was they used a single workhorse back that got all the work. Dalvin Cook was an absolute monster, and I don't think Chubb will be like Dalvin Cook. He's not as good in the receiving department, so that's where Hunt can actually step in a little bit. But I really think that the opportunity split is grossly overstated. So, and also the thing is, the Saints were, when they actually did that, you have two things considered, right? One of the top O lines in the league. That's number one. Number two, they have one of the best play callers in the league in Sean Payton. And number three, they have the best screen passing quarterback of all time in Drew Brees. And he's constantly looking for those mismatches to target those running backs. I'm not sure there will be enough targets to go around in the Browns running back to actually warrant that type of production. I don't see Kareem Hunt sniffing 81 receptions at all, not even close. And I don't see Chubb sniffing that. So without that type of target volume, I think it's really hard to have both of them finish as RB1s. Having said that, you could definitely draft Kareem Hunt for the upside. And it's an interesting case where if Chubb goes down, Hunt, we've seen him in a workhorse role before, he immediately jumps up into that top 5 running back. So his upside is definitely there, but I think the floor is probably a little bit lower than people are leading on.
Yeah, and touching upon the Saints situation, we have Shisha24 asking, is it crazy to want Kamara over McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley in a PPR redraft league? I just want a hot start and bet on the Saints' continuity. I don't like the Giants' schedule, and I'm a little wary of McCaffrey's touches. I just have a good feeling about Kamara and his contract coming out to a hot start of the season. He has the first overall pick. Shisha, if you want to see somebody burn the first overall pick on Alvin Kamara, watch the E-Town Get Down pick the draft last year, where Animal infamously rips open his shirt to say Alvin Kamara when Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and every other running back was still available on the board. This isn't me hating on Alvin Kamara because I still do have him as my running back 3 heading into this year. But you can't fade Christian McCaffrey. The guy just had one of the best running back fantasy point seasons of all time. Saquon Barkley, despite being hurt half the season, was still a running back 1 and is now in a better situation because there's actual people around him that they don't have to just rely on stopping. Defenses don't have to just rely on stopping Saquon Barkley, and he's in a shit-ass division. I know they start off the season terribly with, I think, the Bears and the Ravens or something like that. They have a ton of tough opponents to begin the season, but in the meat of the schedule, when you're playing the Washington football team, when you're playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and whoever the hell the Dallas Cowboys have left, because it seems like everybody on that front line is getting hurt, you can't fade those two guys. If you want to choose Barkley over McCaffrey, go for it. I still think that's a little bit spicy, but Christian McCaffrey showing what he did last year, getting somebody who can actually throw the ball a little bit with an offensive coordinator that isn't whatever Scott Turner, North Turner's son last year, somebody who showed that they were elite at the collegiate level with Joe Burrow at LSU. I think it's extremely, extremely hard to make a case for choosing Alvin Kamara over Christian McCaffrey. And you threw that it's like a PPR redraft league in there. as if Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley don't catch passes. Like they're the two best pass catching running backs in the league. I guess you can interchange Alvin Kamara wherever you want. I just don't see any situation
Well, how you
where
gonna? Wait, hold up. How you gonna disrespect Austin Eckler like that? Austin Eckler is easily top 3 receivers in the league.
well, you guys will see in tomorrow's show. We hyped up Austin Eckler so much that I've just blocked him out of my memory because the only charges I keep in my memory are the ones I have to defend week in and week out. And Austin Eckler has been pushed out of there because I know he's an absolute animal. But just going back to the topic at hand, like I don't know. To me, just I'm like almost left speechless by this because I don't think you can ever fade Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley at the 101 or 102. The fact you're at the 101 and thinking about Alvin Kamara tells me that you probably don't deserve that pick.
Yeah, dude. You cannot fade Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is the 1.01 of 1.01s. And what I mean by that is this is the greatest fantasy asset we have ever seen. And he is the second coming of LT. He's the second coming of Marshall Faulk. And you just gotta embrace it because I know you're worried about the volume, but you can't play scared in fantasy. You can't play scared thinking that like Christian McCaffrey's gonna get hurt because anyone can get hurt. We saw Alvin Kamara get hurt on limited touches. We saw Saquon Barkley, who's basically a fucking Greek god, get hurt, and you just can't play scared. But like you just cannot fade 300 touches in the ground and like another 100 receptions. Like you cannot fade thousand yard seasons, and that's what Christian McCaffrey is. And Christian McCaffrey's floor, barring injury, is RB2, in my opinion. In my opinion, his floor is RB2. His ceiling is RB1. I think his median outcome, his more likely outcome is RB1. If there was someone that I think could outdo him, it would be Saquon Barkley. And it's because Jason Garrett moved over. It's because they upgraded the O-line. It's because we think he's on that revenge tour and he knows he's coming to play for that top spot. And you don't want to bet against Saquon Barkley. And he's the one guy that can also see like 300 touches on the ground and like another 100 receptions. So those are the two guys. They're clearly in a tier by themselves for me. I, like you, Noah, have Alvin Kamara as my number 3 ahead of Zeke, ahead of Cook, because I think he does provide that upside in the PPR and he's in a great offense. He has the continuity. But, you mentioned that you like the fact that you think it's going to go well for his contract. You know what's better than what you think is going to go well? Something that's already gone well, which is Christian McCaffrey has already signed the largest contract for running back because he is that, playing that hybrid wide receiver role. So, look, don't get cute with it. Just pick Christian McCaffrey. If you're blessed with the 101, just pick Christian McCaffrey. When I'm in my best balls and I have 101, there's no thought process required. For 102, no thought process required. I just click the draft on Christian McCaffrey. I click the draft on Saquon Barkley, and I move on. So please don't overthink this one, and please don't waste that 1.01 spot.
And lastly, probably one of the hardest picks to make this year. We have Sneak asking, redraft full PPR, 5th overall pick. What running back are you taking before Michael, the PPR god with a W in there, Thomas? I can't believe I'm about to say this, but even in a full PPR league, I'm going to lean Derrick Henry. I like Dalvin Cook there. And even Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a full PPR, I would think about taking ahead of Michael Thomas because we say it every episode. Like you can fade wide receiver until like the 7th round and end up with a stack of like Tyler Boyd in the 8th, Golden Tate in like the 15th, and whoever the hell else is going around him, just because it's such a deep position, especially in full point PPR leagues when you get these big slot receivers commanding 120, 130 targets a season. So even in full PPR with a guy like Derrick Henry, who's probably going to catch 15 to 20 balls in the season, I just think that it more than makes up for what he does on the ground, seeing 300 to 320, 350 carries and turning that into 1,500 yards and double-digit touchdowns. So that's where I'm at with the 5th pick. Mike, what are you looking at in terms of running backs there?
I'm going running back all the way up until I'll probably pick 1.07. And with the 5th pick in redraft, I'm probably going Dalvin Cook. We get it. He has a little bit of injury risk, but this guy was scoring like 23.6 points per game when he was healthy. And that's as close to Christian McCaffrey as you'll get. And, I looked at this a little bit during our break, but I put out a tweet about the Minnesota Vikings, and we'll throw it up on the screen as well. But basically, they have the 4th toughest schedule when it comes to opposing offense efficiency per Sharp Football. So what that means is they're going to be playing teams that are scoring a lot, but those same teams, their defensive efficiency makes Minnesota have one of the top 5 easiest defensive matchups in. That's my girlfriend coming back there. Top 5 easiest schedules in terms of defensive efficiency. What that means is the Vikings are going to be in a lot of shootouts, and that's good for Kirk Cousins. That's good for Adam Thielen. That's good for Dalvin Cook because he's a receiving back. So I'm perfectly happy taking Dalvin Cook at the 1.05, And he's fallen to the 1.07 sometimes, and I'm perfectly happy taking him there. Before the Miles Sanders injury, I also would have taken Miles Sanders, but now that he's hurt, we kind of got to monitor that a little bit more closely to see if we can take him. I think at 1.05, it's a little bit too risky for me. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm 100% taking ahead of Michael Thomas. Because what we don't know about Michael Thomas is, like, you don't know if he's going to repeat this type of, like, insane season again. I think he's going to lead in targets. I think he's having another great season. But at the end of the day, the edge that he provided is only because of an absolutely historic season from a targets and efficiency perspective. So that's a question mark there. And I'd rather just, like, you just say it's really hard to come back from fading running back in the first round. And, like, honestly, I think it's just not a good idea because of how much value there is at wide receiver in those, like, round 3, round 4 to round 5, round 6, and round 7 even. So I don't think you can fade any of those guys. And I'm taking all of them ahead of Michael Thomas. I'm even considering this, and this is something I'm debating. I'm even considering potentially taking Kenyon Drake ahead of Michael Thomas. And if I had to, if Austin Eckler's ADP rose far enough where he's in the first round where I don't think I get him the second, like, I would consider taking Austin Eckler ahead of Michael Thomas as well. So I would take all those running backs ahead of Michael Thomas.
That's pretty bold. Fading running back in the first round is a dumb idea. But what's even dumber is not hitting that thumbs up button, not subscribing to the channel. We got bangers coming out to you guys 4 to 5 times a week, depending on the week. We appreciate all the support you guys have shown. It's tough to break through on the YouTube scene, even when Nick gives you a kickstart. But seeing you guys in the comments, just showing support, talking shit about my hair, loving the Market Watch Monday segments, and enjoying the clickbait that is every single thumbnail I put out there. We both really appreciate it, and we enjoy seeing you guys enjoy what we do. So hopefully you guys also enjoyed this Bunkbed's Breakdowns Q&A. If you want to get
dude, hold up. I accidentally clicked I thought we were not in speaker view, so I accidentally clicked gallery view and switched over for a second there at the end.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll try to, like, edit around it, but I really won't. It's just going to be real shitty for like 2 seconds. That's perfectly fine. We all make mistakes here. Nobody's perfect, especially this YouTube channel. Extremely unprofessional, which is why we love it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Q&A segment. If you did and you want to be part of an upcoming one in 2 weeks, join the Discord. You can do that through the Patreon, or if you're already part of the Discord, just go to the BBB Q&A section. Drop us a question. It can be Dynasty or, I guess, redraft related, because it's redraft season right now. We obviously want to be more so Dynasty talk, but I understand if you guys want to go redraft. But that's where you can find us. You can also find us on Twitter here and wherever Mike is. I know it mirrors the image, so I'm going to be completely wrong to where I pointed it. But you guys know where to find us. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and have a great Tuesday afternoon. Peace.